Hello, welcome to the LovenStamps studio. My name is Meg Loven, and I have a project for you. I know you're shocked, surprised, all those things. But today I am correcting kind of a little mistake that I've made, and I apologize, but I have not been talking very much about Stampin Write Markers lately. These guys are fantastic, and they give us so much flexibility for different techniques and different ways to use them and cool backgrounds and so forth. So we're going to pull out our Stampin Write markers today and pair them with Friendly Seagulls stamp set, and I'm going to pair them with a new stamp that's kind of an exclusive. It's called Handmade Designs, and I'll tell you more about this one and how it can be available. But it is exciting because it's kind of paired with markers and its availability-ness also. So with that, hey Tanya, hey Joan, I'm excited to show you some marker stuff today because these Stampin Write markers are the original markers that Stampin Up came out with, and the original like colored paired markers. So the idea that cardstock and markers and ink pads and designer series paper and embellishments and stuff would all be color matched to make everything look great together. And so these markers are part of that whole color system. And I just talked about this when we saw each other on Tuesday when we did our popping up to say hi mushroom card, and we talked about the DSP and the markers and the stamps and the cardstock and stuff. So these markers are a continuation. Now Stampin Write markers, these round barreled ones, see those? They're different from the markers. Let me grab some here. The square barreled markers. So I know this is like a lot early in the morning if you're watching early. Sorry, Lori. The square barreled markers, these are Stampin Blends markers. These are alcohol based, and so the solvent in them is alcohol, which means that alcohol is what moves that color around on your paper. These are Stampin Write markers, round barrel, and they have water as the solvent. They're a water-based marker, which means that watercolor, things like water painters, I'll put this over here, are going to work great for them. Now, if you put water into your water painter and tried to use your Stampin' Blends with it, nothing would happen because that solvent is different, so it doesn't pick up the color and move it around. But for our water, that's exactly what we want, okay? So just a little bit about the difference between Stampin' Write markers and Stampin' Blends. I talk about Stampin' Blends all the time. They're new and exciting. So I kind of sometimes neglect my poor Stampin' Write markers, which is terrible of me. So today's video is gonna fix that. So let's go ahead and pop down here. Oops, push the wrong button. Onto our tabletop so that we can get started. So I have a piece of basic white cardstock, and you can watercolor on watercolor paper. It gives you a little bit more forgiveness, but I kind of like this technique on just basic white. So with the basic white, you can't load as much water on because the cardstock's not really meant for that. It like grabs the water and it tends to disrupt the surface just a little bit more, but it also is kind of brilliant because it's kind of like saying to myself, I've thrown color on there and that's the way it's gonna be and I like it, okay? So I'm good with that too. Now, if this were watercolor paper, I would start with my water painter. I'm gonna bring in some scrap paper here, and I would lay down a coat of water on here so that my color flows really well. But I'm not gonna do that here on basic white. It doesn't like that much water. Hey Becky, hey Inika. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get my marker, my water painter ready. The first couple times when you pull this out from your wherever you have it stored, it's gonna take a little longer for the water to kind of flow through the barrel into the tip. And so I like to just do it on my hand because I can easily tell like whether there's water coming through or not. Like, oh yeah, okay, I can feel the water coming through. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a palette. And this is where Stampin' Write markers are fantastic. I actually have a stamper who told me recently that she uses her Stampin' Write markers almost exclusively because she goes other places to do her stamping, and they're so portable, okay? So they come in a set of 10 markers for each color family, and I actually have a selection of color families here. So these are from the, they're both from the Subtles color family. You could use Pool Party and do that too. This is from the Brights color family. I have crushed curry from the Regals, and I have pecan pie from the neutrals color family. But no matter which color family you choose, there's a whole spectrum of colors that, you know, reds, blues, greens, yellows, orange, all those things, except for the neutrals. Obviously, they're all neutrals, but even within the neutrals, there's reds, blues, and greens. So some good selection. And the markers come 10 to a set. And so when you get them in a cool box, of which I don't know if I have any marker set boxes right now. Nope, they come in a cool set of a box. It's about this big. It's nice and sturdy, and it makes them really easy and really portable. Remind me to tell you a little bit more about keeping your Stampin' Write markers healthy as we go along. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these as my color palette. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use this spare block here, and I am going to, let's see, this color I don't need. I'm going to go ahead and color with all of these onto my block. I'm just going to make a palette. So sometimes I use my ink pads to smush an ink pad down onto my block and make the color, color palette here. But this is really quick and easy to just use my markers. And like my friend recently pointed out, they're super portable. They're easy to take someplace. So if you're doing a lot of watercoloring, you have all the colors you need. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our water painter, and I am going to make a fun background sky here for our seagulls. So I'm gonna pick up all of that bubble bath here pretty much. I'm mixing a little water into it to sort of extend the color and get it nice and liquidy. And then I'm just gonna run it here onto my cardstock. Now, when I said this cardstock doesn't take a lot of water, that's it. That's what I get, and I'm happy. So now I'm gonna run this out, make sure it's clean. It's a really light color, so it is. And then I'm gonna squeeze a little bit more, and I'm going to water up some of this Calypso Coral. And can you see that I'm like smushing it around? I didn't even take all the color. I just took some of it, and I'm going to keep squeezing and add a little bit more water there to give us some Calypso Coral. So we have sort of a fun sunset color. Then I'm gonna add the sea, so I'm gonna get just my Coastal Cabana. Pool Party could also work. You'd need a little bit more pigment for that one because it's a little lighter. And I'm gonna add sort of our sea layer here, okay? Might go back and grab just the end of that a little bit more. And then lastly, I'm gonna grab some of our pecan pie. This is a stronger color with more pigment in it, so it doesn't take quite as much to get the effect that I want, okay? And now we have this really fun swipey background, okay? Really simple. You guys saw me do it. It doesn't take a lot of water or a lot of time. And instead of having to pull out all those ink pads, I just had my markers handy. Now, we're gonna go ahead and add some background to this. And so since we're gonna use our seagulls, well, let's do the seagulls first. So I'm gonna pull in some basic white cardstock here, and we're gonna stamp our little seagull friend. Oh, I've already got my stamps out. We're gonna stamp our little seagull friend, and I'm gonna go with Pebbled Path as our sort of neutral here. And I'm gonna add that. Now the other thing that's great about the Stampin Write markers, let's go in here a little tighter, is that you can use them to color. So they have a brush tip and a writing tip. And if you want nice flow to your color, I'm gonna use my brush tip. They are super slick and nice and pointy, so you can get right down there into those cracks. And then you have this chance to add like a color matched element here. So again, we use these for our ink, and we're using them for our coloring, okay? And then I'm gonna use this crushed curry here and add some yellow to our french fries. Now, if you want to, you can also use the writing tip for this end, so or for this project. Now, when you store your Stampin' Write markers, you want to remember that there is one ink barrel in the middle here, okay? So there's one ink barrel, and it has two tips. And so if you store your markers vertically, you're gonna find that the ink is gonna sink down to that one tip, okay? And that is going to mean that there's not ink up at this tip, okay? So you don't want that ink to sink. So you want to store your markers flat always, which is why when you guys look behind me at my marker system, my marker storage, my pad storage, everything's stored flat, Okay, so that's to keep all of my markers healthy, and that's true for our Stampin Write markers too. Yay, oh, Tanya likes the background. All right, so we have our little seagull friends, so let's go ahead and cut them out. Now the other thing, sometimes I've heard some people like look at this stamp set and be like, I don't know, this stamp greetings in there. I'll pull this over so you can see them. How many French fry cards am I gonna send to people? And I would say that actually this stamp set is a really cute one. The artwork is cute, and you can combine it with greetings from any stamp set. So we're gonna go ahead and combine it with another stamp set for our inside greeting, but I'm gonna show you another fun trick for the front of our card here. So, all right, so we're gonna have our seagull. Let's go ahead and add some background stamping. We have these fun birdies here we can put sort of in the background, our seagull friends. And then I have our seashells here from the stamp set. Oh, sorry, I'm not used to stamping in such a small area. Let's go back out. Ooh, that way. Okay. There we go. We have our seashells here to go with our seagulls. And I can use my Stampin Write marker to just get some pecan pie matching on here. Now, when you do this, you'll notice that I'm coloring with the side of my marker tip. I don't really want to color with a tip because that can tend to damage the top there. So I like to color with the side of my marker so that I get a really nice amount of ink on there, but not like too abrasive onto my marker tip. So we're gonna take care of those. All right, and so again, using my markers instead of an ink pad to just be super quick and convenient. All right, so I said we were gonna add a greeting to this, and we're gonna go with the I love you more than French fries greetings, which are here. But I wanted to make this even more fun and cartoony, so I am bringing in the bee builder punch. So this is designed to make a bumblebee. This is his wing. It sits here. There's a new bee set and bee paper in the online exclusives and scrapbooking section of the shop, so you can look at those. But the other thing that's great is that I actually like this as a word bubble punch. And so I'm gonna grab a piece of basic white cardstock here, and we're gonna go ahead and punch ourselves a bee, okay? Except we're not gonna use it as a bee, we're gonna use it as a word bubble, okay? So it's gonna give our little seagull friend a voice. So let's bring this here. And I just realized that I forgot to put this punch, the Bee Builder punch, into the link for the supplies that's in the video description and in the comments here. So sorry about that. You'll have to add this one yourself. All right, so we have our word bubble. I'm gonna have it kind of point this direction. And the problem here is that our greeting is too wide. It doesn't fit. So this is another way that you can put your markers to use for you. I'm gonna go ahead and use my markers to color just the words I love you. And this is a really like fine detailed way to use your stamps. Okay, so I've stamped that on there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use my chamois here to make sure this is really clean, and it is, before I go on to the next one. Now, I'm gonna go with Van here in Calypso Coral to match our other stuff. But then I'm gonna bring in Coastal Cabana to emphasize the word more. I mean, it's in all caps, people. This is an emphasis word right here. So now I can stamp this. There is an old school saying that says that when you are stamping with your markers, you can take as long as you want and color your stamps and so forth. If you find that you've been coloring a long time, you're worried about some of that ink starting to dry on your stamp, you can sort of reactivate it with the moisture from your breath and do the ha 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 thing. We used to call it like the Darth Vader back in the Stampin' day. Luke, I am your father. Anyway, and then we're gonna do our last bit here in Coastal Cabana, or not Coastal Cabana, Calypso Coral here to match the first part of our writing. So, all right, I love you more than French fries. All right, and so now we have our fun cartoony greeting here, which is from the stamp set, and we can pop this on. So let's go ahead and add those here with some dimensionals. We'll pop these on. And I'm going to show you how we're going to combine this with our stamps on the inside. And then I have another whole card to share with you that uses the same technique but in a little bit different context. So, all right, so we have that. When you got water on your cardstock like this, you're going to find that it's going to warp just a teeny bit. And so this is where I love my multi-purpose liquid glue because it grabs hard. And so I'm just going to put that on there kind of out close to the edges, but not so close it's going to squish out. And then I'm going to place that there on my Calypso Coral cardstock. So, all right. We're going to fold this. We're going to add, shockingly, can you guess what color, hint, hint, I'm going to use for our card base on this? Hey, Doris. Doris, you're just in time because I'm going to use our markers even more here for the inside and for our second card. Bubble Bath is the color I'm going to use. And so we're going to pull this in, and I'm going to use dimensionals on this part because I like to give our card a little extra. We do need to add an embellishment to the front of this, so I'm going to pull that out here. One of the embellishments from the new mini catalog is these antique pearls, and I love them. I love that they're not true white. I love that they give you just this little bit of sort of a yellowy antique-y look, and so they match a lot more things than just being pure white. And so I'm going to put them in the sand here. Usually, I know you guys are like shocked and appalled. I'm not putting them around my greeting, our focal point. I'm adding them as extra embellishments to our scene setting here. And so I'm going to pop them down here like extra little seagulls, okay? I know, I'm a big fan of using embellishments to highlight the focal point, but I think that this is pretty highlighted already here. Now, I do want to show you, when I did this card the first time, I actually did it in Bubble Bath here with the word bubble, and I have to say I kind of like this one more. It feels cartoony because it's a white bubble. Like if you were looking at a comic book, it would probably be white like that. And I feel like this one just kind of blends in a little bit more, and this one has a little bit more like pop because of its white contrast. So, all right, now for the inside of our card, we're coming back to these pearls, don't worry. I have a piece of cardstock here, and we're going to use our seagulls again. This is going to be sort of the quick version of them. We're going to put this seagull friend here. We're going to use our Stampin Write marker again to color his little stripes here. And we're taking some liberties here with our seagull. We're not like looking up the avian species list to make sure that he's matching of anything. I recently learned from my friend Lindsay that she's a conservation biologist by training, and there is actually no such species as no such bird as a seagull. They all have cool different names, so-and-so's gull and stuff like that. So, oh good. Hi Nikki. I'm glad Tanya Sue, they say they like our white bird bubble. All right, so I'm gonna come back here to my pecan pie. You saw me checking, make sure I have water coming out. And I'm gonna bring this in here and just give ourselves a little bit of sand dune, okay? So again, like what you get is what you get. Like it's pretty cool looking, I think. That just sort of happened. So if you wanna practice, of course, grab your cardstock scraps and you can practice, but just know that when you're working with a basic white cardstock and your water painters like this with your marker color palette, you don't want to overload the water on here. Okay. All right, now I said we're going to combine this with another stamp set, and that is going to be the Hugs for Love. Like I said, this is a cute stamp set. You can combine it with anything like fun, chatty, so forth. Punny, always my go-to. And I really like this You Make Me Smile, right? Because we've just sent someone a card that says, I love you more than French fries. Okay, where does that go? What does that even mean? But then I'm gonna take our I love you, or have a You Make Me Smile, and I'm gonna stamp this inside. And now this makes so much sense, right? I love you more than French fries, you make me smile. I think that that's a really kind of a clever finish to this stamp set. So we'll just pop this here inside. All right, now I promised you another card. And same technique, different card. This one's going to go pretty quickly because it's a pretty simple one. But it is designed to make the most of a new stamp set that is exclusive to the Demonstrator Starter Kit. So the I Want It All kit is otherwise how I talk about this. So if you are not a demonstrator and you've long been thinking, wow, I like discounts and I like the idea of being part of Meg's team things, and I like, you know, connecting with other stampers and so forth, then you might have thought about getting the Demonstrator Starter Kit, otherwise known as the I Want It All kit, and joining my LovenStamps stamping team. So there's a link in the video description. You can go get more details about this. But the reason that I'm talking about this for this stamp set is that when you get your starter kit between now and the end of February, so just a few, you know, couple more weeks, you get to choose from 2 bonuses. So starter kit is $99. You get $125 of anything you want. So, you know, you could pick stamps, you could pick punches, you could pick the Hugs for Love and the Bee Builder punch, all those kinds of fun things. But then you also get a bonus during celebration, and that is either $30 in bonus products. You could pick $155 of whatever you want. Oh, did I mention that shipping is free? So you just pay tax, no shipping. So that's a nice discount, right? You pay $99, you get $155 of goodies, your choice. The other thing you can do, and the second bonus is worth $91 because you get this stamp set, which is exclusive to this special right now, and you get 2 sets of 10 Stampin Write markers, and those sets are $35 for each set of 10. So that is a bonus over $90 worth of stuff. So what's 90 and 25, 200 and, okay, I'm having math problem. Okay, I've forgotten what that is, but it's a lot, right? It's basically like, you know, getting $125 worth of, I don't know, stuff for free, depending on how you do the math on things. Anyway, it's the best deal. And there's no, you can read more about the perks of being a demonstrator, and so forth. Oh yeah, like Inika said, she's already a demonstrator, but she is a hobby demonstrator. So, you know, you can order for yourself. You can, with your discount, you can stamp with a few friends here and there. You can really do whatever you like as a demonstrator. There's no big penalty if you decide that, you know, you've got all the stuff you wanted as a discount. You can, you know, go ahead and let your demonstratorship lapse. I like to say the stamping police do not come and take your stamps away. It's all good. So anyway, definitely check out the FAQ. Let me know if you have questions. But let's make a card. So we're going to use this same technique, and this time I'm going to use a square of basic white cardstock, and we are going to bring in our garden green marker. And I pretty much used up all that bubble bath, so I'm going to bring in that and just stamp on top. And since I've been using our pecan, I'm just going to keep using that one. We're going to go here at the bottom and do, all right, that's what I said, what you see is what you get. So that's going to be our table space. I think it's really kind of cool, actually, like a wood grain texture. And then I'm going to use my marker here to grab some garden green. And I want to have a little bit more here. So I've got it nice and juicy here. And I'm going to give us our garden green background here. And I'm doing just a little more squeezy here on our aqua or water painter. So, all right, so that's going to be our background. And then I'm going to take my stamp here. So this is the Fun Plant stamp. And I'm going to ink this up here, and we're going to use Pebbled Path again. And this is pretty dry, right? Because I didn't use a ton of water on there. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. And then I'm going to ink up the greeting from this stamp set, which just says, "Have the best day." And I think that that is a really outstanding sentiment. All right, okay, it's running a tiny bit. I'll show you one where I gave it a little bit more time to dry. It's actually kind of cool that way, but I'll show you the dried version too. And then we're gonna take this, put it onto a piece of garden green cardstock, add some of our antique pearls, and ta-da! Now we have our very simple Have the Best Day card, which features the Handmade Designs stamp set, okay? So really fun way to use this stamp set, really easy. And remember, like, this is a really cute set. It has this little handmade by, so you could put that on the back of your card and do a little signing on it. If you didn't want this line to be here, like you wanted to say handmade by but not that, you could do a couple things. First of all, it's a rubber stamp, so if you're never going to use it, you could just cut that out of the actual stamp. I know, blasphemy. But you could also, you could wipe the ink off of that if you're using a pad, or you could ink it with your markers, right? Because you're going to get 2 sets of 10 markers with this starter kit special. So if you choose that one, if you are like, oh, I already have all the markers, then you might find it better to pick the $30 bonus one of your choice instead. But all right, so those are our 2 Stampin Write marker cards. Now a note, just so I don't cause any confusion, the Friendly Seagulls stamp set is one of the Sale-A-Bration selections. So it's one of the freebies that you get when your order is $60 or more. Because the starter kit order has such a great discount in it already, you can't add Sale-A-Bration sets to the starter kit order. But once you've ordered your starter kit, your demonstrator number and so forth comes in usually like instantly, sometimes within 24 to 48 hours. Then you can place your own order with your demonstrator discount. And then you, of course, as a demonstrator, qualify for Friendly Seagulls and other Sale-A-Bration choices, as well as demonstrators, we get Stampin Rewards too. So don't feel like you're going to miss out on those or anything. So, all right, everybody. Well, I hope that these give you some ideas of how to put your Stampin Write markers to work. If they're like mine and they've been getting neglected lately, pull them out again. This is like the fun time where we are like usually saying like, this technique is an oldie but goodie. Like these markers, they are outstanding. There's so many great things you can do with them. And I really think that they help to bring our seagull card to the next level. So, all right, everyone, happy Thursday, happy pre-Friday, happy cake day, all of this stuff. If it was a cake day for someone, you could send them a have the best day card. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great one. And I will be back on Tuesday with another episode of Maker Mornings with Meg. So happy stamping, everyone.